Hello there, and a very warm welcome to this short pre-recorded webinar all about our face-to-face course called Brilliant Me and My Ideas. This webinar is relevant for you if you're a parent or carer of a child who is about to take part in our Brilliant Me and My Ideas course, whether that's a 5-day version, a 4-day or a 3-day one. And in this webinar, I'm going to share with you some information about what we do at Role Models, why we believe life skills are so important, and we'll look in detail as to what will be covered on the Brilliant Me and My Ideas course, and we'll finish with some ideas and tips for you as parents as to how you can help embed these skills at home. So to begin with, to introduce myself, I'm Louise Traherne, Director of Character Education at Role Models. I work on the education side, creating the content of our sessions and courses. My background is in teaching. I was a primary school teacher for 12 years. 5 of those included working as a senior deputy head in an independent school, and I'm also now a qualified coach. So it's very much using the experience from education and a coaching approach to think about the types of skills that children and young people need in order to thrive in life. If you're watching this back and you have any questions at all about the content or the course, please do get in touch. My email is on the screen here. And then for those of you for whom perhaps Role Models is new to, a little bit about what we do. So we are an impact-driven education provider, and we focus on life skills that promote social and emotional well-being, as well as what we like to call dynamic thinking. And we know that these are the types of skills that really help children to thrive, as I said, rather than just survive through life. And we know they make a difference when it comes to home, school, but also thinking about their future and their work readiness, which might seem a long way off for your young child, but also about being life ready too. How do we do this? Well, we complement the more traditional academic elements of education by offering our online and offline courses, working with children between the ages of 3 to 15 years old. And we're focusing on the areas such as leadership skills, confidence, resilience, creative problem solving, collaboration, and a growth mindset. And for this particular course, called Brilliant Me and My Ideas, that sits firmly in the creative problem solving area. So we're looking at how do we view creativity, can we innovate, can we think creatively, can we solve problems? So why are these skills so important? Well, I'm sure you'd agree your child is about to take the course with us, but we really believe that they have 3 major impacts, and that is a positive impact on mental health and well-being. We know this has always been of utmost importance, particularly now, during and post a global pandemic. We really need to be equipping our children with a firm foundation of strong mental health and well-being. When it comes to our child's happiness, satisfaction, sense of self, their relationships with others, we need to be giving them the types of life skills to fall back on, the resilience, the people skills. And we also know that these life skills impact more than just mental health and well-being. So there's a clear link to academic attainment. If our child is confident, if they can think independently, if they have resilience, they are much more likely to reach their academic potential. We also know, thinking beyond the classroom, that there's a positive impact on their future. You know, we hear that feedback time and time again from employers that they're looking for people not just with the qualifications and the exam grades, but who have the types of life skills to go alongside them. So they're looking for people who can think creatively, who can collaborate effectively with other people, and who can solve problems and think with initiative. Building on that further, if we look here to the top 10 skills highlighted by the World Economic Forum, you'll see there skills such as critical thinking, creativity, negotiation skills, cognitive flexibility, judgment and decision making. In order to be successful, we need to future-proof our young children in how to develop these skills. And we really believe this can be done even at a very early age. So giving your child opportunity to challenge themselves in a healthy way and to understand that they do have the capability, they do have great ideas, and they can solve their own problems. So building on that further, our curriculum for this particular age group, age 5 to 7, so children in year 1 and year 2, we have come up with 4 particular themes. So we have Brilliant Me and My Confidence here in the orange, and those sessions and that course helps children to really build that inner confidence. So this course and theme is particularly helpful for people that need to really strengthen that confidence and begin to see themselves in a positive way. Perhaps for children who don't naturally like to celebrate what they've achieved, and being able to think good things about themselves and recognise and celebrate their strengths. Brilliant Me in My Mind is more about developing that positive mindset. So moving away from perfectionism and moving away from I can't to I can't yet. Now that course is particularly great for anyone who might be worrying about making mistakes, who tends to have that tendency to think quite negatively and focus on the things in their day that goes wrong, and who perhaps just need a little bit of support in being ready to try new things, so how they're responding to the idea of challenge. Brilliant Me and My Feelings in red here is all about developing that emotional literacy. So how ready your child is to be able to recognise a range of feelings, to talk about how they feel, to name them, and then to be able to respond to them appropriately. So understanding that, different feelings are absolutely okay. It's about how we choose to accept them and to respond to them. And then we go into a lot of detail about how do we self-regulate, how do we calm ourselves when we have a particularly big emotion or feeling that feels like it's taking us over, and then identifying feelings in other people too, so developing some emotional intelligence. And then finally, Brilliant Me and My Ideas, which is the course that your child is about to take with us. This is all about developing imagination, curiosity, thinking about nurturing our ideas and believing in them and being ready to celebrate and talk about them with others. And I think what's lovely about this course too is it promotes that idea that there are lots of different ways that we can be smart. Smart is not just reading and writing and maths. We can be great at building, at designing, at creating. So this course is particularly good for those children that maybe don't see themselves as creative. Maybe they feel that they are not good at using their imagination, that they shy away from owning their ideas, that perhaps if they think differently and feel differently to others, they're reluctant to share that. So, building on that further, what will your child be up to and what will they be focusing on during the Brilliant Me and My Ideas course? Now, as I mentioned, we do run this course as a 5-day version, a 4-day occasionally, and a 3-day too. So some of the aspects that your child will be looking at is taking an idea and knowing how to grow it. So we talk about how do we nurture our ideas? Well, we need to give them our attention, we need to talk about them, we need to share them with other people, and we need to really believe in them. And if we do all those things, our ideas can grow into big things. We also look at having confidence. So, as I mentioned before, if my idea is completely different to the person next to me, or indeed the rest of the group, how do I feel about that? And is that a reason for me to change my idea and not share it? Or can I have that strength of character to believe that mine might be completely different. Mine might seem weird or crazy, but actually that's okay, and I can still share that. We also look at developing imagination and viewing imagination and creativity as something that can be developed. We're not born with a limited amount. So the more we use it, the more we practice, the more fun we can have with it. And we also look at ways that we can take inspiration from other areas, whether those are books that we read, films that we watch. We can use that to inspire us. And then also, I mentioned again that idea of there are lots of different ways to be smart. And I think this course is great for those who already are strong in creative thinking, to be able to help those children celebrate that this is a real strength. You know, if they're struggling to recognise that because perhaps they're not as strong as other people in other academic areas, this course is a brilliant experience to boost them and build them up. Our fantastic role models who work with us, I think are a very unique aspect of what we do. And we have a whole range of different role models who deliver our offline courses. Many of them are teachers or ex-teachers. We have actors, performers. We have those who are trained in drama therapy and mental health and well-being, and they all bring something different. So your child will be working with one of our role models, not necessarily one on the screen here, but just to give you an idea. And they are passionate young individuals who really work hard at building that rapport with your child. And they are there to give you feedback too. So I really encourage you to drop off, pick up, do stop and have a conversation with your child's role model, and they will also be completing a written report. So at the end of the course, they write down their feedback on your child, focusing on what progress they've seen throughout the duration of the course, and then perhaps even more helpfully, they direct you to where do they need to take it next. So what areas do they still feel could be developed further? And you'll receive that report the week after your child has completed the course. So to give you some information on the content now, the way our Brilliant Me courses work is they are all delivered through storytelling. We know this is a great way for this age group to really connect and get our ideas across to the children. So each day, 2 stories will be shared with the group. A story in the morning and a story in the afternoon. And the story is read in a very interactive way. The children are encouraged to join in, and then they complete a creative activity. Now that creative activity might be them making something individually, or it might be something collective that they do. And the activity is designed to help them think about the message from the story they've just read, and to really bring the learning back to them. What does this mean for me in my world? And how can I take the theme or the concept from the story and really begin to understand it for me? We also have Brilliant Billy the Bunny. You'll see on the screen here, he's the mascot throughout the particular course, and he joins the children on all of the Brilliant Me courses. Now, Brilliant Billy the Bunny is great as a speaking and listening tool. As we pass it round, we each have a go talking in front of the group, sharing our thoughts and our feelings, but he's equally as helpful as a distancing tool. So often young children might find it difficult to say, I feel this way when I share my ideas in front of others. But yet if we ask them how Billy might feel, they're much more ready to identify with that and project perhaps their own thoughts and feelings onto how Billy might experience them. We also share a daily mindfulness activity. So each day of the course, after the children have had their lunch, they'll come back into the space and they will be led by the role model through a mindfulness short activity. And these mindfulness tasks are really good for helping your child learn to recognise in that present moment and to be still and to be calm. Often it's a breathing activity or a movement activity, what thoughts and feelings do I have? And can I connect with those? And crucially, without judgment. So if we notice we're feeling angry or distracted, that's okay. And these mindfulness activities are great to then take home and to be applied. So do ask your child to show you what was the mindfulness activity that you did today. And of course, peppered throughout the course will be lots of games, lots of challenges. We call them energizers, confidence building games, where your child will be working with the group of children. And that in itself, I think, is a brilliant opportunity to go slightly outside of your comfort zone, to be working with a group of children whom you might not be familiar with, and to have a go at turn taking, speaking in front of a group, and developing your confidence. I should add here, you will receive at the end of the course a list of all of the books that have been used. So if there are any particular books that have really resonated with your child, you'll be able to have the name of the book and the author in case you want to then purchase that book. So an example activity. One of the books the children read throughout the week is Pete the Cat and the Treasure Map. I'll just move myself down there so you can see that. It's a really fun book, all about pirates and treasure. And the whole point of this activity is they share in the story, and then we put the focus back on the children. Right, what about if we were to go on our own pirate adventure? And what about if we each had the challenge to draw our own treasure map? What could that look like? And it's absolutely fine for the children to take inspiration and ideas from the book. They can replicate, they can copy, but they also have free rein to interpret it in any way they'd like. So the role model is trained to be able to recognise and encourage the children. You know, if your map looks very different to everybody else's, isn't that wonderful? So we give them some time to create their own treasure map. We've got lots of pirate props. We imagine going on these adventures. They then roll their treasure maps up and decorate their envelope to take them home in. But the crucial point here is exploring their own ideas, their creative thoughts, and then sharing them with the group and talking about them with confidence. Some thoughts here about how to make that link between the learning they're doing with us and you at home. So one of the things you will receive is a summary at the end of each day written by the role model working with your child. And in that summary, they will list the books that have been read, the activities that have been done, and the games that have been played. And so that email is brilliant for just instigating that conversation. You know, we know that when the children come home and you often say, "What did you do today?" you get very little back. So do please use that email. Often there will be photographs attached to prompt that conversation. Oh, tell me about what you did today with your role model. What did you make? Tell me what's going on in this picture here that I can see. Ask them to explain the things that they've made. Some of the days they will be coming home with a creation, so get them to talk to you about it. Ask them about the stories, and then, as I've mentioned, ask them to show you the mindfulness activity and perhaps see if they can teach it to you. Some ideas to share as to how you can support their learning at home. So I'm thinking here about how to encourage creative thinking, how to encourage using their imagination, but also just that innate confidence to be able to share their own thoughts and ideas. My first point here is about emphasising effort rather than the outcome. And this links to mindset and resilience, and also that readiness to take risks. Okay, so if we're only ever praising the outcome of a task, that can breed that perfectionist tendency in our children. So if we're only ever going, "Wow, fantastic, you got 10 out of 10, or "Wow, you were first in the race," or "Wow, you won first place in this art competition," all we're doing there is reinforcing the fact that the outcome, the success of the task, is the most important thing. So what we can do instead is just balance that off and also recognise the process, the attributes. And this doesn't mean that we can't recognise the outcome, but we need to try and do both. So it might sound like, wow, fantastic, you know, you won first place in the art competition, but do you know what I'm most proud of? The fact that you put so much effort and you took so much care and time over your entry. You know, you didn't give up even when you got to that tricky bit. So what we're doing is we're highlighting the effort and the attribute that our child has shown too. And then that will hopefully begin to be what they focus on just as much as the outcome. The second one there is about asking your child for their help. If we want our young children to become great at problem solving, at thinking creatively, we've got to engineer situations for them to do that. And we've got to build their self-efficacy. So how much do they really believe in their capability to do that? So this could be as simple as, oh, you know, I've got this tricky problem. I know you're going to be a great help here. Can you come and help me solve it? Or what ideas do you have? This is a problem that we've got, you know, as a family or at home, or the door's stuck, or this isn't working. Can you come and help me fix it? I'm sure you've got some great ideas. Just small things, feedback phrases, you'd be surprised, can really help build up your child's view of how other people see them. Giving them decisions to make and responsibilities, obviously within reason, but if we are always making decisions and doing things on behalf of our child, they're lacking the opportunity to really put their thought into practice. So it could be simple things. You know, do you think we should go this way or that way? What do you think we should select from these different options? Can you come and be in charge of sorting this out, laying the table, doing this? And I think those are key ways that we can build confidence in our child and show them that they do have that capability and that they can make their own decisions. And I'm going to jump forward to the celebrate different ways of doing things. Crucially, when they do make a decision or are given a responsibility, even when it's done in a way that we might not have done it ourselves, is to just celebrate that and go, wow, do you know what? I was expecting it to be done a different way, or I would have done it a different way. And I love the fact that you thought about it completely differently. Isn't that interesting? Okay, it doesn't need to always be done the way we're expecting. You know, if there's any opportunity where we can just let that still be and celebrate it, I think that could be a beautiful learning moment. Allowing them independence. If we want creative problem solvers, we've got to give them the independence to do that. And then also let's encourage our child to take inspiration from other places. We often work with children at Role Models who say, you know, I don't think I'm great at being creative. I struggle with my imagination. And they are perhaps seeing the idea of taking inspiration from other places as wrong. I can't copy. I can't do that. I've got to come up with something completely original. And that's just not true. You know, we can find ideas in the strangest of places. They are all around us. So I suppose model that to your child on your walk into school, on your drive home, whatever it might be. Oh, that's made me think of something. Or don't you think those clouds look like this? Or let's take that character from that book and let's write a story about that character. Or do you remember the thing we saw in that movie we went to see? What could we create using that as an idea? In terms of embedding the learning, it's something that all courses and I suppose learning experiences really struggle with. You know, we want your child to come and have a fantastic time on the course with us, but we want more than that. We want them to actually think, feel and behave differently as a consequence of having done the course. So how do we make sure they don't just go back to old habits after the Role Models course and forget everything that we've spoken to them about? Well, there are a couple of things we do. I've mentioned that daily summary email that you will receive, so look out for that. We will also send through that report that you'll receive after the course is finished. We'll send on to you 10 top tips. And those tips are for you as parents and carers to really think, right, how can I continue to develop these types of skills? What can I be saying and doing and responding at home? You'll also receive the book list, as I mentioned, if there are particular books that you think, wow, I'm going to get that one to reread. And then follow-up videos. So after the course is finished, your child will receive, or you will receive, but they're intended for your child, short follow-up videos, and we space these out so that you don't get them all at once. So 2 weeks after the course, and then 4 weeks, and then 6 weeks, a very short video for your child to watch, perhaps with you, reminding them, do you remember this book we looked at? Do you remember this activity? How are you using this in your everyday life? On the last day of the course, your child will also be thinking about Billy the Bunny, and they will receive a special letter. They'll receive that in the post, and it is a surprise. So please keep it a secret. It should be addressed to your child, and that letter is from Billy the Bunny, and it's speaking directly to your child. Just another way to remind them. Remember role models, remember all this fantastic learning we did about being creative. How are you now using it? And then finally, at the end of the course, all those who complete it receive a passport. And in that passport, we have a page for each of our 4 courses. And on each one, we tick off the key skills that your child has worked on. And then they'll receive a certificate as well, and a little key ring, just reminding them of their experience. So a bit of course specific information. We run these courses in lots of different venues, at different times of the year, at different places, countries. So do please read the pre-course email that you will receive, because in that email there'll be lots of venue specific information. And it will talk to you about where to drop off, where to pick up. Our course runs from 10 in the morning till 3 p.m. We do often offer extended day packages too, so do have a look at the information and you can request that if that's something you need. You will have filled in a pre-course form, and we'll prompt you if you haven't yet done that. That's where you give us all the important information about any allergies or anything else that we need to know about your child. Please do make sure that your child brings their own lunch for the course, which is nut-free, and a water bottle. And then depending on the time of year, please make sure they've got suitable clothing with them. So whether that's a coat or a hat or sun cream, and drop off and pick up, as I've said, it is at 10 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, unless you've requested the extended childcare package. And we do request, whether it's a parent or nanny, that you do drop off and then leave the venue rather than staying on site, just to really give your child that independent experience and to allow us to work on developing all the skills with them. So I hope this has been helpful as some information about what to expect and what we'll be focusing on. If you do have any questions, please do reach out to us. We're more than happy to take a call, an email, and we really hope that your child has a fantastic time with us. I know their role model will be looking forward to meeting them, and we hope you all enjoy the experience. Thank you.